You know that spaghetti scene from Lady and the Tramp? Have you ever seen it played out with humans? Well, you're about to.
Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm.
That is Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt bringing back the romance, or at least trying to. In Mad About You, the reboot returned for the first time in more than 2 decades earlier this year. Hard to believe. The finale just around the corner. It airs this coming Tuesday, Feb 11th. But this morning, we have Paul Reiser, a.k.a. Paul Buckman, on our sofa right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Nice to be. Yeah, the spaghetti thing works much better with dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't quite have.
How many takes was that?
You know what? It's not that hard to eat spaghetti. You'd be surprised. Like that. Yeah, Helen is a champion spaghetti eater.
I love it. This was such a beloved show. What made you say yes to a reboot?
You know what? We were reluctant to do it because we were so pleased with how we ended it years ago. But everybody was inviting us back, and they said it's doing. And well, the real thing was Helen and I kind of wanted to work together again. We just had such a great time. And then we thought, at this point in our lives, in the characters' lives, it's a really interesting thing when your child leaves the home and you're back alone together, and you realize, oh, it's just us, and it's a really rich place to mine for comedy.
You guys were such a great couple on camera. Carol Burnett has said that being around you two, sometimes it felt like you actually were married. You had such a good chemistry. Have you stayed friends, you and Helen Hunt?
Yeah, yeah. Luckily we liked each other because you spend a lot of time when you make a show together. You spend a lot of time together. So yeah, we were getting together all the time over the 20 years that we were off the air. So it wasn't like we had to reintroduce ourselves.
I love it. I'm looking at the kitchen, and I remember the sloping floor.
Yes.
Is the sloping floor still a problem?
You know what? If you watch the show, you may see there's a little reference. We have, yes, in one of the episodes, somebody wanted to buy our apartment, and so we got David Harbour from Stranger Things came. That was the character as David, and he came and looked at the apartment, and he went, something's wrong with his floor. So there was a 25-year callback we did on our floor.
I love that moment. What was it like to walk back on that set for the first time?
Really, really odd, and there's something magical when you get all the cast back together and you get in that space. It all came back so easily, and we kept thinking it should be more strange. This should be harder, but it was so. It came back so easily, and it was so fun. It was really great. We had everybody back with John Pankow and Richard Kind and Ann Ramsey and Carol Burnett, who will be on Tuesday's episode. Not to give away any secrets, but Carol Burnett joined us, and she's great. There's a reason she's Carol Burnett, by the way.
Fantastic. Part of the love of this show was that it was as much about New York as a couple living in New York. And for people who weren't in the city, just the lifestyle of New Yorkers, that apartment was such a big part of that.
And it was such a big part of it, but also such a big apartment. And people who live in New York, nobody has an apartment that big. I mean, that's true.
Yeah, that is very true.
But what people don't remember is that we only had 3 walls because we had cameras. So I said, that's why we were able to afford such a big apartment. The breeze coming in that empty wall.
There were a lot of characters that sort of popped up. They weren't really cameos because they weren't really big at the time when they walked in. I'm thinking about Ursula, who was the waitress in the restaurant.
Lisa Kudrow,
then became Phoebe in Friends years later, and then you did a bit of a crossover of the two.
Yeah, Lisa Kudrow came on to Mad About You in the first season. I think she was a flashback when I was talking about the last blind date that I had. So she was supposed to come on one episode, and she was so funny. We said, we got to bring her back. And then she went and did Friends and became Lisa Kudrow.
Helen Hunt is directing this time around, and I've read that she insisted on gender parity and diversity behind the camera. Yeah,
we were very conscious about our show, and our crew should look like the world looks and like the country looks, and we had great directors. Helen directed the first one terrifically, and then we had a real mix of a whole bunch. There you go. There's all our directors, and we were very lucky because everybody brings something new, and it was a great experience.
It was a magical show the first time around. What felt either better or different this time around?
Well, I'll tell you what was different. Our joke was that the scripts only had to be half as long because at this point, every other line was, what? And then we'd have to repeat it because we're older. So that was different. You know what? I think we both enjoyed it a little more because we knew what we were doing, and it just felt like a celebration to get back and get to play together again. And we were nervous. We said, oh, boy, this will be bad if it turns out bad. But
Yeah.
they came out great, and we had a great time, and very proud of them.
Great to have you here.
Nice to see you.
All right, thanks for coming on just before the finale.
You bet. Enjoy it Tuesday. Watch it and
will.
call me with any questions.
I'll be sure to do so. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.